Every single person who has ever achieved greatness had to make a decision. A decision to stop doing the one thing that holds most people back, and that one thing, seeking approval. Think about it. How many dreams have died because someone was too afraid of what others might think? How many people have held themselves back, not because they weren't capable, but because they were waiting for permission? The truth is, the moment you seek validation, you give away your power. You let others define your success. You let their opinions dictate your actions. But here's the reality. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. People are too busy living their own lives. The greatest barrier to success isn't failure. It's the need for approval. Too many people hold themselves back, not because they lack talent, discipline, or drive, but because they are waiting for someone else to tell them they're good enough. They hesitate, second-guess themselves, and seek validation before taking action. And in doing so, they give away their power. From an early age, we are conditioned to seek approval. We grow up learning to follow rules, please authority figures, and fit into expectation. We are rewarded for doing what is acceptable and corrected when we step outside the lines. Over time, this approval-seeking behavior becomes a habit, and without realizing it, we start basing our self-worth on how others perceive us. But here's the truth. No amount of external validation will ever be enough if you don't believe in yourself first. The moment you allow other people's opinions to determine your actions, you are no longer in control of your own life. You hesitate to take risks because you fear judgment. You play it safe because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You hold back your ideas, dreams, and potential because deep down you are afraid of what people might say. The irony is that the people whose approval you seek are often too busy dealing with their own insecurities to truly focus on you. Everyone is fighting their own battles, chasing their own goals, and worrying about their own struggles. The fear of judgment is often worse than the judgment itself. Even when people do criticize or doubt you, their words hold no real power unless you allow them to. The most successful people in the world didn't wait for approval. They didn't ask for permission. They acted. They believed in their vision even when others doubted them. They were willing to look foolish, be misunderstood, and face rejection because they knew that success doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from standing out. When you stop seeking approval, you gain something far more valuable, freedom. The freedom to pursue your passion without worrying about what others think. The freedom to make mistakes, learn from them, and grow without fear of criticism. The freedom to trust yourself and make decisions that align with your goals and values. This doesn't mean you should ignore feedback or dismiss constructive criticism. Learning from others is important. But there's a difference between listening to valuable input and constantly changing who you are to fit someone else's expectations. The moment you realize that you don't need permission to go after what you want, you become unstoppable. Think about how much time and energy is wasted trying to please others. How many dreams have been abandoned because someone was too afraid of being judged? How many opportunities have been missed because someone hesitated, waiting for validation that never came? The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who were universally approved. They are the ones who decided they didn't need approval in the first place. So ask yourself, are you living for yourself or for the approval of others? Are you making decisions based on what excites you or based on what you think will impress others? If you had no fear of judgment, what would you do differently? The moment you stop seeking approval, everything changes. You become bolder, more confident, and more focused. You start making choices based on what truly matters to you, and most importantly, you stop waiting. Because success isn't about waiting for someone to tell you you're ready, it's about deciding that you are. One of the greatest obstacles to success and fulfillment is the habit of comparing yourself to others. It's a trap that many people fall into without even realizing it. The moment you start measuring your progress, achievements, and worth against someone else's, you set yourself up for frustration, self-doubt, and a constant feeling of not being enough. The problem with comparison is that it is never fair. You are comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to someone else's highlight reel. You see their success, but you don't see the years of hard work, failure, and sacrifice that led them there. You see their confidence, but you don't know their insecurities. You see their achievements, but you don't see the battles they fought in silence. In today's world, social media has made comparison even worse. You scroll through endless pictures of people showcasing their best moments, vacations, promotions, relationships, achievements, and without realizing it, you start questioning your own progress. You start wondering if you're falling behind, if you're not doing enough, if you'll ever catch up. But what you're seeing is only a small, carefully curated fraction of reality. No one posts their failures, their self-doubt, or the days when they feel lost. The truth is, success is not a race. It's not about being ahead of someone else. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Your journey is unique. Your challenges, strengths, and timeline are different from anyone else's. The moment you stop comparing and start focusing on your own growth, everything changes. Comparison leads to two outcomes. Either you feel inferior or you feel superior. Neither is beneficial. If you feel inferior, you diminish your own accomplishments and start doubting yourself. If you feel superior, you become complacent and stop striving for improvement. Either way, comparison takes your focus away from what truly matters, your own journey. Instead of looking at others and feeling discouraged, shift your perspective. Let their success inspire you, not intimidate you. If someone has achieved something great, it means it's possible. Learn from them, but don't measure yourself against them. Use their success as proof that if they can do it, so can you. In your own way, on your own timeline. The key to breaking free from comparison is gratitude and self-awareness. Take time to appreciate what you have accomplished, no matter how small. Recognize your own strengths, talents, and progress. Celebrate your wins instead of constantly looking at what others have done. The more you focus on your own journey, the less time you'll spend worrying about someone else's. It's also important to remember that success is not a limited resource. Just because someone else is doing well doesn't mean there is less opportunity for you. There is enough room for everyone to succeed. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs you, fully embracing your unique abilities and strengths. So the next time you catch yourself comparing, pause and ask, am I using this as motivation, or is it making me feel unworthy? If it's the latter, shift your focus. Turn your attention back to your own growth, your own goals, and your own progress. Because at the end of the day, the only person you should compete with is the person you were yesterday. Success is not about being better than someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. And that journey is one that no one else can take for you. Excuses are the silent killers of success. They disguise themselves as logical reasons, justifications, and even valid obstacles, but at their core, they do nothing but hold you back. Every time you make an excuse, you give yourself permission to stay the same. You trade progress for comfort, potential for stagnation, and opportunity for regret. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who had perfect condition. They are the ones who refuse to let their circumstances define them. They had the same fears, the same doubts, and the same reasons to quit as anyone else, but they chose to move forward anyway. Excuses come in many forms. Some sound like, I don't have enough time, but the truth is, time is not the problem, priorities are. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they use those hours. The ones who make progress don't wait for the perfect time. They make time. They sacrifice distractions. They wake up earlier. They stay up later. They cut out what doesn't serve their goals. Then there's the excuse of, I'm not ready. But the truth is, no one ever feels fully ready. Waiting for the perfect moment is an illusion. The people who succeed are the ones who take action despite their fears. They understand that progress comes from doing, not from waiting. They know that mistakes and failures are not reasons to stop. They are part of the process. Another common excuse is, I don't have the right resources. But the reality is, most people who have succeeded started with nothing. They didn't wait for the perfect tools, connections, or opportunities. They started with what they had, where they were, and figured out the rest along the way. If you are waiting for everything to be ideal, you will never start. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who find a way. Excuses feel comfortable because they protect us from discomfort. They allow us to avoid failure, rejection, and hard work. But in doing so, they also block us from growth, learning, and success. Every time you make an excuse, ask yourself, is this a real limitation, or am I just avoiding the effort it takes to change? The harsh reality is that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. If you want something, you have to take responsibility for it. That means owning your choices, your actions, and your results. That means recognizing that your excuses are nothing but stories you tell yourself to justify inaction. The good news is you can decide to stop making excuses at any moment. You can choose to take control. You can choose to push through the discomfort, to do the work, and to create the life you want. It won't be easy, and it won't be instant, but every step you take in the right direction is a step away from excuses and a step towards success. So from this moment forward, commit to one thing: no more excuses. No more waiting. No more reasons why you can't. Focus instead on how you can. Because once you stop making excuses, you start making progress. And that's where real success begins. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a necessary part of it. Yet so many people live their lives in fear of failure, avoiding risk, staying within their comfort zones, and hesitating to take action. They believe that failing is a sign of weakness, a reason to stop, or proof that they are not good enough. But the truth is, failure is one of the most powerful teachers in life. The most successful people in the world didn't succeed because they avoided failure. They succeeded because they learned from it. The fear of failure is rooted in the need for certainty. People want guarantees that their efforts will pay off, that they won't waste time, and that they won't face embarrassment or disappointment. But certainty is an illusion. There is no success without risk. Every great achievement in history was built on a foundation of failures. Every entrepreneur, artist, athlete, and leader who made an impact had moments where things didn't go as planned. The difference is that they didn't let failure define them, they let it refine them. Think about a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, they get back up, and they try again. They don't sit on the floor, ashamed that they couldn't do it perfectly the first time. They keep going. And eventually they walk, then they run. This is how success works. But as we grow older, we start believing that falling is something to be ashamed of. We start avoiding situations where we might fail, and in doing so, we stop growing. Failure is not a signal to quit, it's feedback. It's life's way of showing you what works, what doesn't, and where you need to adjust. Every failure contains a lesson, but only if you're willing to look for it. The people who achieve greatness don't ask, why did I fail? They ask, what can I learn from this? And then they apply that lesson and keep moving forward. One of the biggest misconceptions about failure is that it's permanent. People fear that if they fail, they will be stuck in that failure forever. But failure is only permanent if you stop trying. The moment you decide to get back up and try again, your failure becomes part of your progress. The only real failure is giving up. Another dangerous belief is that failure means you're not capable. But failing at something doesn't mean you lack talent, intelligence, or potential. It means you're in the process of learning. Some of the most successful people in history faced failure repeatedly before they achieved greatness. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest players of all time. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. If they had let failure define them, the world would never have seen their brilliance. The key to overcoming the fear of failure is to change your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, see it as a necessary step towards success. Instead of fearing mistakes, embrace them as opportunities to grow. Instead of worrying about what others will think, focus on your own journey. Imagine what you could achieve if you weren't afraid to fail. Imagine the risks you would take, the opportunities you would pursue, and the confidence you would have. The truth is, failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. And the moment you stop fearing failure, you open the door to unlimited possibilities. So don't let fear hold you back. Take the shot, start the business, apply for the job, write the book, chase the dream. You might fail, but that's okay. Because failure is in the end, it's just the beginning of something greater. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, it's easy to fall into the trap of chasing short-term wins. People want success, but they want it fast. They want results without patience, rewards without effort, and progress without discipline. They focus on quick fixes, easy gains, and shortcuts, thinking that if they can just get ahead right now, they'll be successful. But real success doesn't work that way. True, lasting success is built over time, not overnight. The greatest leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries didn't achieve greatness by looking for immediate rewards. They played the long game. They focused on consistent growth, continuous learning, and sustained effort. They understood that success is not about winning today, it's about building something meaningful that will last for years to come. The problem with short-term wins is that they often come at the cost of long-term success. People cut corners, compromise their values, or make impulsive decisions just to get ahead in the moment. But what happens when the temporary high of quick success fades? They find themselves back where they started, frustrated, unfulfilled, and searching for the next easy win. Look at any successful business, athlete, or leader, and you'll see a common pattern. Delayed gratification. They sacrificed quick wins for something greater. They put in the hours when no one was watching. They stayed patient when things weren't moving fast enough. They resisted the urge to take shortcuts because they knew that true success requires discipline, endurance, and a vision beyond today. One of the biggest dangers of chasing short-term wins is that it creates a cycle of dependency. When people get used to quick rewards, they lose the ability to stay committed to long-term goals. They become addicted to instant results, and the moment progress slows down, they give up. They move on to the next thing, hoping for faster success, only to find themselves in the same place over and over again. The most successful people break this cycle by focusing on long-term impact. They don't ask, what can I gain today? They ask, what am I building for the future? They understand that mastery takes time, that real wealth is built over decades, that meaningful achievements require persistence. Think about the difference between someone who spends years developing a skill versus someone who looks for quick success. The person who puts in the work will eventually surpass everyone who relied on shortcuts. The one who trains consistently will outperform the one who looks for an easy way out. The business owner who focuses on long-term value will outlast the competitor who only chases short-term profits. This doesn't mean small wins aren't important. Progress matters. But the key is to see those small wins as steps toward a bigger vision, not as the final goal. Instead of focusing on immediate results, focus on the process. Instead of looking for fast rewards, invest in long-term growth. So ask yourself, are you making decisions based on where you want to be 5 years from now, or are you only thinking about today? Are you committed to the process, or are you looking for shortcuts? Are you willing to delay gratification, or do you give up when things don't happen fast enough? If you want real success, stop chasing short-term wins, start playing the long game. Commit to the hard work, the patience, and the discipline it takes to build something meaningful. Because while others may sprint ahead for quick success, the ones who stay consistent will always win in the end. Success is one of the most personal things in life, yet so many people let others define it for them. From the moment we are young, we are told what success should look like. Society, family, friends, and even social media paint a picture of what it means to be successful, a certain job, a certain income, a certain lifestyle. And without realizing it, many people spend their entire lives chasing a version of success that isn't even their own. The problem with letting others define success for you is that it leaves you feeling empty. Even when you achieve it. You can reach the goals that everyone else said were important, getting a degree, landing a high-paid job, buying a nice car. But if those things don't actually fulfill you, what's the point? Too many people wake up years later and realize they climbed the wrong ladder, they chased what they thought they were supposed to want, only to find themselves unfulfilled and wondering, was this really my dream? Real success isn't about meeting other people's expectations. It's about defining your own path and pursuing what truly matters to you. It's about waking up every day feeling aligned with your goals, not because they impress others, but because they give you purpose. It's about measuring your progress based on what makes you proud, not based on comparison with someone else. One of the biggest traps in life is seeking validation from others. When you allow external opinions to dictate your choices, you give away your power. You start making decisions based on approval rather than passion. You hesitate to take risks because you're afraid of judgment. You feel pressure to conform, even when it doesn't align with your true self. But here's the truth. No matter what you do, people will always have opinions. Some will support you, some will doubt you, some will try to define success for you based on their own fears and limitations. But at the end of the day, the only opinion that truly matters is your own. The most successful people in the world are the ones who dared to follow their own path, even when others didn't understand. They were told their dreams were unrealistic, that they should take a safer route, that they should do what was expected. But they didn't listen. They chose fulfillment over approval, they chose purpose over comfort, and because of that, they created something meaningful, not just in terms of money or status, but in terms of impact and personal satisfaction. Success isn't about reaching a specific milestone. It's about living in alignment with your values. For some, success means building $1 billion company. For others, it means having time to travel the world, raising a happy family, or pursuing creative passions. There is no single definition. The only failure is living a life that isn't truly yours. So ask yourself, are you chasing success that excites you or success that impresses others? Are you making choices based on what you truly want or based on expectations placed on you? If you stopped worrying about what people think, what would you do differently? The moment you stop letting others define your success, you take back control. You start making choices that align with your vision, your values, and your happiness. You stop living for validation and start living for fulfillment. Because real success isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about waking up every day knowing that you are building a life that is truly your own